My wings are not even, but you can't tell from back here, so let's go. Hello, book friends. Welcome back to Books and Tea Time with me, Adeline or Addie. Both are acceptable, neither are preferred. Today we are doing a special video and a new video on my channel. Today we are going to be doing the first ever episode of Ask Addie or Ask Adeline. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it yet. Here is my conundrum. My family calls me Adeline. My friends and everyone else in my life calls me Addie. But Adeline is like so close to rhyming with tea time. So I don't know what to call myself here on YouTube. You can call me either. I'm probably going to refer to myself as both because my brain is divided. Anyway, I wanted to film this video for a couple reasons. First things first is most of my content thus far and most of my regular content is vlog-centered content. I do weekly reading vlogs or like reading challenge vlogs to complement my blog, where I do a lot of different things like recommendations, book reviews, wrap-ups, and TBRs. I do a lot of that stuff on my blog because I originally had started as a blogger and I thought that it would be fun to have vlogs, to have reading vlogs to complement those, but I still want to do some sit-down type videos and intermingle some sit-down style stuff with my vlogging content to keep it fresh, and also to keep it interactive, because these Ask Addie things are obviously going to require you to ask me questions or submit things on my Instagram. Also, if you haven't followed me, my Instagram and my Goodreads are both linked down below. So essentially, I got the inspiration for this series because I watch a lot of BookTube, guys. Some of my favorite BookTubers are Pooh's Project, Noelle Gallagher, Bow Ties and Books, This Story Ain't Over, Naya Reads and Smiles, Fictional Fates, Bookish with Mariah, another up-and-coming new YouTuber. You should definitely check her out. She's awesome. The best energy in the world. Oh my god, she has the most incredible energy ever. Love her. Those are just a couple of the booktubers I follow. So here's my thinking with this, guys, is when I watch a booktuber, whether or not you start watching someone at the very beginning of their booktube career or in the middle of their booktube career, you don't know every book that they've read because they have been a reader before starting their channel, and if you're new to their channel, you've missed out on a lot of content, and while you can go back and watch it, I am always wanting to know if my favorite booktubers have read books that I like or books that I want to read and like to go in their backlog and try and find it. So this series on my channel is going to be an attempt to fix that problem for me and my audience. Basically, this is a chance for you guys to ask me bookish questions and for you guys to peruse my mental bookshelf. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not making sense, but basically I just want you guys to be able to ask me about books that you like, that you want to hear about, that you're interested in reading and you want to know my thoughts on, books that you want me to read. I want you to be able to submit all of those, and I can have an entire series on my channel, like a playlist of me doing these, so that it's more likely that you have a chance to find out if I've read it, or my thoughts on it, or if I plan to read it, things like that. And also just a chance for me to like talk to you guys, hear what you guys are reading, what you guys want me to read. We have 9 books to talk about today. I got 9 submissions and 1 bookish question. So this is basically the test run just to get my feet wet, try it out. If you like this video, like, comment, and ask for more, or comment a book that you want me to do in the next episode. Follow me on Instagram so you can participate in the next episode. Subscribe also so you can see what happens in the next episode. I just wanted this to be an interactive way for you guys to like go into my brain and see what I've read, what I plan on reading, what I own, what I like, and what I dislike. Because you guys weren't around when I was reading in like middle school and high school and these past few years of college, but that doesn't mean I wasn't reading. Oh my god, you guys can see Elmo. let's not discuss this. Okay, so basically my prompt to you guys on Instagram was to submit a book that you had on your mind, and I am going to answer the following questions. Have I read the book that you submitted? Did I like it or dislike it if I did read it? If I didn't read it, do I want to read it? Why not? And do I own it? First things first, one of my very best friends in the entire world, I will have her Instagram and her book linked down below because I love her. But one of my very best friends submitted 2 books and a question. So we're gonna start with the books that she asked about. The first book that I was asked about, I actually own a copy of, and it is a very, very special book in my collection and in my heart, and that is because my best friend wrote this book. That's right, guys, I'm friends with an author. I know. I still can't believe it because I'm just so proud that I am like literally holding something in my hands that one of my friends wrote, and that book is Vulnerable. I mean, like, let's look at the cover, guys. This book is Vulnerable, subtitle, How to Notice the Power of Vulnerability Through Lettuce, Laundry, and Love. And if you want to know what that's all about, you got to read it. But this book is by Julia Ruggiero, the beautiful, the excellent, the intelligent, the wonderful, the hilarious Julia Ruggiero, my BFF. I like to describe it as memoir meets self-help. She talks about her experiences and her knowledge of mental illness, specifically OCD, and how she deals with it, how she came to terms with mental illness, how she learned about it, taught herself, and how she's kind of helping other people to understand their own challenges and how to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Basically, that's what vulnerability is all about, and it is so amazing. As you can see, I annotated the crap out of it. This is the only book submitted that I have read, and I have an entire review for it on my blog, which I will have linked down below. Check it out. I will also have the Amazon for this book down below if you're interested. I really am not just saying that it's good because she's my BFF, so I really love everything that she stands for, and she submitted this as a joke, but I'm definitely going to talk about it because I love her and I have read it. So yes, this is the first book. The second book that also my friend Julia submitted is The Tao of Pooh by Benjamin Hoff. I hadn't heard of this until she recommended it to me, and this, I looked it up a little bit what it's about. It's essentially a Western perspective on Taoism, but told by Winnie the Pooh. I have not read The Tao of Pooh, but I will read it because she recommended it to me, and it's really short and it just sounds sweet. And it's kind of like a reflection on spirituality and religion, told through the perspective of Winnie the Pooh, I think, if I'm understanding it correctly. The next one is another submission by one of my friends. A lot of these are submitted by my friends because my friends are the only one who watch my channel. I'm not ashamed of that because I love them for watching it, and that is my friend Renee from school. I won't put her information up here in case she's not comfortable with that, but I do want to say thank you, Renee, if you're watching this. And she asked about A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I think I'm saying that correctly. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if I'm gonna read this. I don't have it and I haven't read it, so I'll tell you guys that much. But I just watched Noelle Gallagher's reading vlog. She did an entire vlog dedicated to this book, and she bawled her eyes out. And she basically said, this is an incredibly, incredibly sad book, and I don't recommend it to people. So, I don't know if I'll read this. Basically, what I know about it is that it follows 4 college students, and all I know is that they deal with a lot of trauma, and it's incredibly, incredibly sad, and it just, like, ramps up anxiety like crazy. So for that reason, I don't plan on reading it in the near future. However, I am not gonna say that I'll never read this book because I have heard amazing things about how beautiful the writing is and how poignant and wonderful it is, even though it makes you cry. So, yeah, I don't like crying. I mean, I cry all the time. You could ask Alexander, my boyfriend, he will tell you that I cry all the time at stupid things, but I don't like to cry. So I don't know if I would read a book that is meant to create feelings of depression and sadness, but I'm not opposed to eventually reading it. So that's my answer. That's probably not a good answer. So no, I haven't read it, and I don't plan on reading it in the near future. So I'm sorry, Renee. If you've read this, maybe you can convince me that it's worth it. These next three are all submissions from another person, another friend, a person that I know, another friend, and that is Maggie. Again, I won't put your information out there in case you're uncomfortable, but thank you for helping me with this video. First book is Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. And this is another one where I'm going to disappoint you. No, I haven't read it. Let me just put it out there. I'm just going to confess to you right now all of the incredibly popular series I have not read. I have not completed or read all of the Harry Potter books, and honestly, because J.K. Rowling sucks and she's a TERF, I'm not really that guilty of that. No books written by Sarah J. Maas or Cassandra Clare. Twilight, never read Twilight, never will read Twilight, God no. I have seen and heard so many people review Sarah J. Maas's books. I've heard people recommend them all the time, and I've never ever wanted to read them. I know that is an incredibly controversial statement, and I am willing to accept the heat that I'm going to get for not liking or reading Sarah J. Maas books. And there's a Cassandra Clare book on this list that I'm also going to, spoiler alert, tell you that I'm not going to read and that I haven't read. But before we get there, Maggie also submitted The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and this is a book that I haven't read but that I am going to read. Now, I have wanted to read this book since it came out. I've heard excellent things about it. Obviously, it's an incredible novel. The thing is, I know it's gonna wreck me, and I don't like books that make me cry. I know this book is gonna be hard-hitting. I will make the promise to you that I'll read it before the end of the year. How's that? I'll promise you that I will read The Hate You Give by the end of the year. If I don't do it, you may punch me in the face. Then the last book that Maggie submitted is This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. I think it's a memoir about being a doctor. I haven't read it, and I'm not going to read it. Reading about and watching like doctor shows really disturbs me to my core. I can't watch Grey's Anatomy because I will think that I have suddenly developed a rare form of cancer. I can't watch House, Grey's Anatomy, any of those like hospital shows. I can't do it. I've tried multiple times and I just can't do it because I will diagnose myself with some rare disease, or I will think that my family is gonna die. That's just how my anxiety works and how I work. So I'm hesitant to even consider reading this book because it's about a doctor and all of the things that doctors have to do and the hard things that doctors have to tell people. So I feel like I would need to do more research and maybe watch some reviews of this book before I would consider reading it. But if you really think that I should read it, Maggie, again, next time we see each other, you can convince me. Moving on. The next book that I received is the Shadowhunter books by Cassandra Clare. And again, I haven't read any of Cassandra Clare's books. The Infernal Devices, Dark Artifices, I think these are series. I've heard lots of buzz about them. I don't know why I don't want to read Cassandra Clare or Sarah J. Maas, but I just don't. I feel like because I didn't read them in like middle school or high school that I have missed out on that moment in time and thus have missed out on the chance to enjoy them. So I don't know if I can read them. If that is an incorrect assumption about these books, let me know. But yeah, Shadowhunter series, haven't read them, don't think I'm gonna read them. If enough people comment and ask me to read these books, I will do a reading vlog centered around them. But again, that's only if a lot of people really want to know what I think about them and really want me to read them. We only have 2 more books left and then 1 bookish question, so let's get going here. Alexander, my boyfriend, submitted the Chronicles of Narnia. I haven't read the Chronicles of Narnia. I have seen the movies, and the movies were okay. I was really into them when I was younger, but I've never read the books, and I really don't plan on it. And here's why. This is a controversial opinion, probably, but I am doing research on Lord Byron and Philip Pullman. And Philip Pullman is the author of the His Dark Materials series. Philip Pullman and C.S. Lewis, the author of Chronicles of Narnia, kind of have a little bit of a beef, and I am on the side of Philip Pullman. If you want me to go into detail about this, I will, but essentially I've read some like academic articles about this, and Pullman has come out a lot critiquing the religious undertones of C.S. Lewis's works, and I'm a Pullman gal through and through, so I really don't have any desire to read C.S. Lewis. My knowledge of the Pullman and C.S. Lewis spectrum, I'm more on the Pullman side, so I just don't think that I would enjoy them. And then the last one, again submitted by one of my friends, thanks Bobby, and he submitted the book Undine by Freidrich de la Motte Foquê. I'm definitely not saying this right. I have no idea what this is, and I don't know if he submitted this as a challenge to me or what, but I read the Goodreads synopsis and I'm all in. So I haven't heard of it, have never read it, but I definitely am putting it on my TBR list because holy crap, this sounds interesting. And I have just jotted down a little bit from the synopsis here. It is about a water spirit who marries a mortal and gains a human soul, and is revered for its craftsmanship and is compared to H.P. Lovecraft. So I will be reading this in the future. It sounds really interesting. Just as a recap, I have one book read, and that is Vulnerable. I have 3 books that I will read / plan to read, and 5 books that are gonna be a no-go for me, unless of course you guys beg me to read either the Throne of Glass or Shadowhunters series, or anything by Sarah J. Maas / Cassandra Clare. And the very last thing, I also said that you guys could submit me some bookish questions, and I only got 1 bookish question, which is okay because we're gonna do more of these in the future. The only bookish question that I got was again from my friend Julia, and she asked me to go over a list of my least favorite books. Now, when she first asked me this question, I was like, oh, I don't have any books that I hate. And then I thought about it and I was like, you know what, I do have some books that I really, really dislike. First one, The Red Badge of Courage by Stephen Crane. I had to read this in the 8th grade, and it was one of the most agonizing reading experiences in my entire life. I hated this book with a burning passion, and we had to do an assignment where we had to like do something where we like mimicked it, and I just hated it. All I remember really is that it's a bunch of poems about war, and I was so bored and miserable reading this book, and yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Romeo and Juliet, I hated it. Oh my god. I just don't get the hype. I don't get the hype. I do not like Romeo and Juliet. There are so many other Shakespeare plays that are worth reading and hyping over, and if you're a literature student, I guess it makes sense to have to read Romeo and Juliet once, but I had to read it in the 9th grade. We had to act it out, and I was just so annoyed with Romeo and Juliet's characters. The Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Horrible. Had to read it for summer reading in the 9th grade going into high school, and it was just so bad. I don't get the hype. It's a bunch of boys who like get lost in the woods and try and kill each other, and I get it. I get why people like it, and I get why we're supposed to read it, but at the same time, it's so bad. It is the worst reading experience ever, and I don't recommend it. And lastly, A Farewell to Arms. I greatly despise Hemingway and his writing. It's not just that I don't like him, I also just don't like his books. Hemingway's annoying, his main characters are annoying. Oh crap, I forgot another one on here. As I was talking about annoying main characters, I thought of Holden Caulfield, which means that another book that I could easily put on this list is The Catcher in the Rye. That was a nice trip down memory lane, thinking about all the books that I hate, and I'm glad that I never have to read again. So happy. That completes this very first episode of Ask Addie, or Ask Adeline, depending on what I choose for the thumbnail. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this makes sense to you and it's something that you want me to continue. If you do want me to continue this, don't forget to like and comment, subscribe so you can stay tuned for the other editions of this series. Follow me on Instagram if you want to participate. Thank you so much for watching this video. Happy reading, happy writing, and happy living. Bye guys.